multiple different projects at iSpirit. So one of them is to build a developer community, help startups build on these APIs, right? And the other one is I've been also working on GST. So I'm helping the GSTN team build the GST ecosystem. And the other initiative that I'm also working on is what we call as a healthcare track. So this is very early stage. So just like what happened to fintech, our hypothesis is we'll do the same thing for health tech at iSpirit. Why? So there's essentially three fundamental things we believe in iSpirit. So one is financial inclusion, healthcare inclusion, and education. So these are the three large macro views of the use of India stack. So this is my background. So by virtue of this, I've been working with a lot of startups on payments, on GST, so on and so forth. So so that's why I thought rather than me telling something right, I'd probably do it the other way around in terms of understand if you guys have any day-to-day challenges or there are any new ideas that you all are building, and probably ideate and give you my point of view of what I think SMBs would be post the GST and era. I thought let's make this more of a interact. That's why the fireside chat. And rather than doing some kind of talk and telling generally that these are the APIs and so on.
How will SMB's life change after GST is implemented?
Sure.
There will be a lot of hype around GST, and everybody is running after getting a GST license and all. So at the ground level, let's say if you talk about a shopkeeper, for example, how will his life change after GSTN comes into picture?
So in GSTN, automatically there will be 8 million SMBs who will be eligible, who will come under the GSTN law. There are 7 million more people who are going to come into formal taxation system. Now what were they doing? So it's not like all 7 million are adopting software for the first time. However, 3 to 4 million of them were all doing offline accounting, right? So they had Tally as a backend always, and I'm a small provision store guy, right? How does accounting work for me, right? I buy from somebody, that guy gives me bills. I sell to somebody, it doesn't matter, right? I have a inventory registry, which basically where I'll keep writing and say this is my stock coming, this is my stock going. Based on my stock going, I estimate what my sales is. Right? So I give both of these information to my CA, and the CA will ask me this question, kitna banna hai? And that guy will say, haan, thoda itna, whatever. It will be a long-term relationship with these two guys, and this guy would say, theek hai, is saal mein itna bhar denge, this guy will pay this much. That guy goes and puts this, money into bank account or whatever. So they'll have some kind of setup in the beginning of the year, and this is the way this guy's life is going on. So in the post-GSTN era, this changes. Now the reason this changes is that all of this 8 million guys need to be on a software. There is no choice. Whenever I make a purchase in the post-GSTN era, I need to confirm that I made a purchase. So the guy who sold it to you is going to be on your neck and say, "Bhai, tu confirm kar. Mera tax ka date ho." So that's the system design. So the way GSTN works is that the manufacturer is here, right? And he sells the product to, let's say, a super distributor. Now the super distributor has to acknowledge, so this guy will go to GSTN and say, okay, I have sold this to distributor X, right? Now GSTN will be waiting for confirmation from distributor X for this guy to move forward and get that tax credit. So this guy is going to now tell this fellow, look, I have submitted my invoice, please confirm this, right? So this guy has to confirm. So let's say this guy is a savvy guy, he confirms. Now this guy sells it to a distributor, the same action happens. Now the distributor sells to the retailer. Now this retailer bugger was the chore all these days. Okay, the distributor always had inventory software, accounting software, right? They need to do delivery notes, they need to do challans and so on and so forth. Those guys were software enabled in some sense. That is the actual hardcore tally using companies. Okay, the stockists and the dealers and distributors. So the retailers were at will. They were never Tally's customers. They were all POS customers. So POS is so distributed that it has no uniformity. But all POS, when it went to backend, would become uniform and the CA files using Tally. So every product has a Tally integration. So all these POSes would earlier make this backend entry and give it. So all of these POS today, which the retailers are using, need to somehow get enabled on GST. Because that fellow has to now accept what somebody has sold it to him. Are you guys following me?
Yeah.
Right? Now, the twist in the game was all of these POSs were offline. So there was no audit. So you build in one software, you take result in another Excel sheet. By the time it goes to Tally, there's another version, and then by the time you submit, there's something else. Okay? So all this black money in small business is exactly here. So what is GSTN then? So GSTN is the mother of all ledgers for accounting in India. Every business which does an accounting transaction will make an entry in GSTN's ledger. Full, right from manufacturing till retailer. So there will be audit trail. So if I say that I've sold this to you, right? And what was happening earlier? What was happening is you would never say first of all I bought, right? So there is no confirmation on whether even I've sold a product to you. Similarly, you would also not tell me if you have sold it to someone or not. So there is no reconciliation happening, right? And there were 1750 tax classes across India. So you could essentially be paying tax for any state because it's destination based. So I could be a small business. And so let's take a scenario. I'm a manufacturer in Chitradurga and I'm supplying food, processed food to everywhere in India. The tax that I file to Assam government is different from what I file to Delhi and what I file to Chennai versus what I file to Karnataka. None of them know who I'm paying what, who is where, nothing. There's no reconciliation because they're all siloed state VAT departments. All of this will become central. So this was if you think about it, the only reason why small businesses were not doing accounting by themselves in India was because they did not want to do it. It was complex to do accounting, right? So what does the accountant goes and tells? Agar aap nahi karoge to you'll get noticed, right? So it's a fear is why people outsource accounting. That bhai, I need to be compliant. Now, whether I'm compliant or not, there is no way I can know as a business owner today. Because that's how complex the laws are. So in one shot, all of these 1750 tax classes are going to become 30. Okay. So there'll be not more than 25-30 plus GST classes. It will be very neatly done. No, the central will collect it and then disperse this to state. So there is only one central registry. So it's the mother of all accounting softwares, GSTN.
So you're saying all the sales that happen at a small merchant shop, everything will move to POS.
Yeah. If he doesn't show that I have sold and collected tax, he is not going to get his tax credit, input tax. He will not get his commission back.
But ultimately, everyone will have to move to being GST enabled.
Yeah. So all of you go read the draft GST law. It's as good as a criminal law if you don't comply.